In a world that often celebrates the loud and the powerful, there are some voices, quiet and steadfast, that carry the weight of guidance without ever seeking fame or recognition. This is the story of one such prophet, a man of unwavering faith, known to few, yet beloved by Allah. Prophet Iliyass, peace be upon him. His story is not told in grand battles or miraculous floods like some others. It is the story of patience, devotion, and hidden struggles, a story that speaks to every heart seeking guidance, courage, and hope. Close your eyes and imagine a land where people had turned away from the remembrance of Allah. Their hearts, once soft and humble, were now hardened by arrogance, neglect, and forgetfulness. In the midst of this darkness, Allah sent Iliyass, a man whose words were gentle, yet whose faith was strong enough to move mountains, if only hearts were ready to listen. Long before the age of technology, long before the noise of cities and the rush of life, there existed a small, forgotten community. People lived in abundance, yet their hearts were empty. They worshipped their desires, ignored the poor, and twisted the truth for their gain. Justice was rare, honesty was mocked, and sincerity was seen as weakness. It was a time when a single voice of truth could seem like a whisper in the wind, easily ignored, yet it was this very voice that Allah chose to send. Iliyass. From a young age, Iliyass was different. He found peace not in wealth, nor in power, nor in praise, but in quiet devotion to Allah. While others sought worldly gain, he sought closeness to the one who created him. His nights were spent in prayer, his days in service, and his heart in reflection. And yet, he knew the path would not be easy. The people he was sent to guide were proud, resistant, and distracted. But Iliyass never wavered. His faith, though unseen and often lonely, burned brighter than any worldly fire. When Prophet Iliyass began his mission, he did not enter with grand announcements or demands. He began quietly, speaking to individuals, showing kindness, and reminding people of the mercy and justice of Allah. "O people," he said, "do not let your wealth and pride blind you from the truth. Turn to Allah, seek His guidance, and live with honesty, compassion, and humility." But the people were resistant. They laughed at him, mocked his simplicity, and ignored his words. And still, Iliyass continued. He traveled from town to town, never raising his voice in anger, never seeking revenge. Every act he performed, every word he spoke, was an example, a mirror for people to see what righteousness truly looked like. It is easy to forget, even today, that sometimes the greatest struggle is not against enemies, but against apathy, against people who refuse to see, hear, or feel the truth. Iliyass knew this. He faced indifference with patience, ridicule with humility, and rejection with unwavering trust in Allah. Being a prophet is never an easy path. For Iliyass, the challenge was not only in preaching but in facing the loneliness that comes with being a voice of truth in a world of neglect. His people refused to listen, yet he continued. Many nights, he would sit alone, under the stars, praying for guidance and mercy for his people. The silence around him was heavy, but in that silence, he found strength. Allah tested Iliyass not with fire or flood, but with patience. The weight of a nation's indifference pressed upon him, yet he remained steadfast. Every act of worship, every prayer, was a shield against despair. And it is here we learn an important lesson. True strength is not measured by how many follow you, but by how sincerely you strive in the path of truth, even when no one is watching. Iliyass embodied this strength. Although Iliyass was hidden from history's spotlight, Allah honored him with miracles that touched hearts and reminded people of His power. One story tells of a famine that struck a village. While the people hoarded what little food they had, Iliyass prayed sincerely, asking Allah to provide. And Allah sent blessings in unexpected ways. Rain fell in abundance, wells filled, and crops flourished, a reminder that reliance on Allah surpasses human effort. Another time, when injustice threatened to crush the weak, Iliyass would remind rulers and rich men alike that no power exists without the will of Allah. The arrogant would tremble at his words, and even if they did not change their ways, hearts of the oppressed found hope. Through these moments, we learn a timeless lesson: faith is not about fame or recognition. It is about sincerity, patience, and acting justly, even if the world around us does not notice. Iliyass showed that the most powerful victories are the ones that touch hearts quietly, without applause. Prophet Iliyass passed from this world quietly, leaving behind no grand monuments, no armies, no kingdoms. His legacy was not in wealth or conquest, but in hearts that had been touched, however quietly, by the light of truth. And here lies the eternal lesson for all of us: sometimes, the greatest impact comes not from being seen, but from being faithful. Not from being loud, but from being consistent. Not from demanding attention, but from inspiring reflection. When you feel alone in your faith, when it seems that no one notices your prayers, your acts of kindness, or your devotion, remember Prophet Iliyass. His life tells us that every act of goodness, every prayer, every moment spent in sincere faith, is recorded by Allah. And in the eyes of Allah, that is what truly matters. So, let his story remind us: strive quietly, pray sincerely, and trust completely. Even if the world ignores you, Allah sees. Even if your efforts seem invisible, they are shaping hearts and destinies. And even in silence, the truth has power.